Time for the Friday night triple feature Iron Man Marathon, also known as All Night Drive-In. And our first movie tonight, Surf Nazis Must Die, is one of the greatest movies about deranged surfing maniacs ever made. It kind of reminds me of those iron crosses with the surfer on them. Everybody wore them in junior high school to show how cool they were. And then they'd give them away to the first girl who'd agree to guzzle 6 old Milwaukee tall boys without belching. But basically, the movie is about how everything in Southern California is destroyed in an earthquake. And so it looks like Southern California. And since there's no cops around, the Nazi surfers rule the beaches. It's a reality show. And then at 2:25 in the morning, we'll have Bloodstone, one of those comedy, mystery, thriller, exotic piece of crap is what this movie is. Skip that one. And then at 3:55, Hercules Unchained, the 1959 sequel to the original Hercules. Steve Reeves is back with even more cardboard cities to destroy, and Sylvia Koskina is back too with even less words to say than she had in the first movie. Some great see-through silk gowns on her though. So what have we got tonight? Let's sum it up. Surf Nazis Must Die, 2.5 stars, Bloodstone, dog doo-doo, and Hercules Unchained, the greatest sequel to Hercules ever sequeled, 2 stars on that one. So in other words, you might want to check Showtime tonight. I wouldn't watch this stuff if I was you. Joe Bob Briggs, I'll be here till dawn, and you don't have to stay if you don't want to. Don't blame me for this stuff. I'm Joe Bob Briggs with another Friday night Iron Man Marathon here on the Movie Channel, and tonight we have a theme for our triple feature. The theme is Stupid People with Guns. And our first 2 gun-toting stupid people are Cliff DeYoung and Tracy Scoggins in Dangerous Company, the story of a retired hitman hired by his ex-lover to steal a fake painting and root around in bed like a weasel a lot. Now, fortunately, he has friends from Vietnam who give him free drinks. You know, y'all think I make these plots up, don't you? But Tracy Scoggins wears 6-inch high heels and never takes off her bra while having sex. What a woman. Okay, and then next on our Stupid People with Guns triple feature at 2:35 a.m. is Hard Ticket to Hawaii, an old favorite here at the Movie Channel about some diamond smugglers who try to kill, torture, and maim Playboy playmates who are undercover agents for the DEA. This movie features 26 breasts, 12 dead bodies, and 1 giant mutant rubber snake. Starring Donna Spear, winner of last year's Best Actress Award in the Drive-In Academy Awards. And finally, at 4:10 in the morning, you won't want to miss Acapulco Gold. Marjo Gortner fighting international drug smugglers and grinning a lot. So, what do we have tonight, really? Let's sum it up. In Dangerous Company, kind of a sleazy thriller that doesn't make any sense. 3 stars. Hard Ticket to Hawaii, 4 stars just for the sheer number of Playboy playmates that get naked in it. And Acapulco Gold, Marjo Gortner in one of his finest roles of the mid-70s. Maybe 2 stars on that baby. So, stay with us till dawn. I'll be here. See if you can stick it out for the Iron Man Marathon. I'm Joe Bob Briggs, and we got a weird one for you tonight on the Friday night Iron Man Marathon. Blood, breasts, and beasts. We got all the elements, starting with They Live, best drive-in movie of 1988. It's about these outer space ghouls that live underground under L.A. They're yuppie ghouls. They send out these riot squads to bulldoze the homeless, and only Rowdy Roddy Piper can save the world. He has these magic Ray-Ban sunglasses, allows him to see who's a ghoul and who's not. Great movie. And then at 2:50 a.m., we're going back to the 70s for Fiona, which is, I'm sorry about this, a British sex comedy. I know we promised we wouldn't have any more pasty-skinned British women getting naked on TV. Some of them have skin that looks like Elmer's glue. But this girl is really okay. Her name's Fiona Richmond. She was kind of the happy hooker of England, and she plays herself in the movie. Basically, my life as a slut. That's the plot of the movie. Hopping from bed to bed all over Europe, flashing her hooters in every scene. Very 70s movie. And then finally at 4:10, we've got Rolling Vengeance, the story of a trucker who gets revenge on the town rapist by driving his semi through a cornfield and mashing them into the mud with his big wheels. Ned Beatty's in that one, always great bad guy. So let's check out the lineup. We start with They Live, best movie you'll see anywhere on cable tonight, 4 stars. Next is Fiona, 2 stars if you're sexually well-adjusted, 4 stars if you're a pervert like me. And finally, Rolling Vengeance, Mack Truck Foo. I give it about 3 stars. So long night ahead. Get ready. Are you tough enough for the Iron Man Marathon? I didn't think so, but here it is anyhow. Many of you are gathered in your homes across the country and you're saying to one another, you know, there's one thing that I'd like better than winning the lottery, and that would be getting a job like Joe Bob Briggs on the movie channel. And of course, who wouldn't want that? But now, that dream just might be possible for you and your loved ones, thanks to the generosity of the movie channel, which is owned by Showtime Networks Incorporated, which is owned by Viacom Incorporated, which is owned by 17 secret corporations in the Bahamas. In other words, we're talking about an unlimited amount of cash here. You could be famous for the rest of your life. You could start that showbiz career that you've been putting off until you got the microwave fixed. It's that time again. It's time for the Any Jerk Can Host Drive-In Theater Contest, because my show, Drive-In Theater, which is seen here on the movie channel every Saturday night, has a special motto that has meant a lot to my professional career development. And that motto is, these suckers are giving me money for this? And now I want the movie channel's very own Rhonda to show you how you can get in on this with me. Just write me a letter and send me a picture of yourself telling me why you're the jerk that can host Drive-In Theater. Now, we don't have any idea of what kind of letter we want. Just sell me on the idea, and then if you win, we will fly you with your spouse or living companion, or if you live in California, your spouse-like love unit, to our secret Drive-In Theater studios somewhere in Texas, where we will go into intensive rehearsals leading up to your national TV debut. And that's not all. Winners will also receive a huge, enormous, big screen TV for your family to watch your TV debut, and of course, a reclining lounge chair, something like mine. Won't be as nice as this one probably. Steer horns are optional for you to set your hiney in when you get back home. Okay, now, you're probably saying to yourself, do I have the stuff to go on TV and make an idiot of myself? No, of course you don't. I don't either. That's why I'm on TV and I'm not somewhere respectable like movies or the stage. This is even cable TV. I mean, most people are more nervous ordering fries at McDonald's through the loudspeaker than they are coming on cable TV. So give it a shot. And while you're here in Texas, we'll make sure you get to see all the tourist attractions. Catch a rodeo, maybe we can go to a kicker bar, get beat up together, whatever you'd like. And that is airfare, isn't it? I'm checking for you. Just wait just a minute. Yes, that is airfare and not just bus fare, unless you live in Waco. Waco people have got to come by bus. Are you the jerk we're looking for? Last year's jerk was Kent Phillips of Bloomington, Indiana, and Kent's already gone on to a career as a, what, that last job fell through? Well, Kent's going to be breaking into showbiz any day now. So this is your shot, your perfect show, because it's true, any jerk can host Drive-In Theater. And also, let me mention, girls can be jerks. I know jerk sounds like a male term. That's what some of the women on the crew were telling me. But I've known enough of you gals that qualify, so don't think this is some kind of male deal. All right, here's where you write in. The movie channel, Any Jerk Can Host Contest, P.O. Box 517, Sayreville, New Jersey, 08871. And oh yeah, one more thing. I almost forgot the most important part. The best 100 runners-up will get a shirt. It's a special new Drive-In Theater t-shirt made up for all you losers, because that's what you'll be, a big loser. If you can't win this contest, you're in sad shape. Okay, Rhonda, show them one more time the prizes. A glorious Texas vacation for two, an appearance on Drive-In Theater as the guest host, a huge, enormous, big screen TV, and the one most coveted by all, an official Joe Bob Briggs lounge chair recliner, sort of like this one. You know, I've had this baby for 20 years. You can't even hardly find them anymore. It's got these special super-duper lounge controls on the side, and you just sort of, just need a little oil on there. Somebody want to help me up out of here? July is America's birthday. 1776 to 1990, that makes us real old. And to salute America during July, Drive-In Theater will have some very special movies. First, we have America's favorite sweetheart, Marilyn Chambers, the former Ivory Snow Girl who made Behind the Green Door and Insatiable. Well, she's crossed over from porno movies to legitimate film for the fifth time, and we have her in Party Incorporated. We have America's favorite vigilante, Charles Bronson, in Kinjite. Chuck sweeps the scum off the streets of L.A. as he takes on the child porno industry. We have Bedroom Eyes 2, our tribute to Wall Street, starring playmate Karen Shower and America's favorite she-demon, Linda Blair. And finally, we round out the month with Hell High, a romantic comedy. We love you, America. You can't show these movies in Russia even today. every Saturday night at 11 Eastern Time, only on the Movie Channel. God shed His grace on the seed of shining... That's not the way it goes. The purple waves of grain salute you on drive-in theater. November is the month when America honors the Pilgrims, and drive-in theater is no different. We know all the names of the people who landed at Plymouth Rock that day. Miles Standish. So in honor of Miles Standish and all those other great pilgrims, we have a whole month of pilgrim movies on drive-in theater, beginning with No Holds Barred, the Hulk Hogan wrestling flick, because the Pilgrims made it possible for the World Wrestling Federation to exist. No religious freedom, no wrestling. The Pilgrims said, no way, we'll die for that right. And then we've got Caged Heat, one of the greatest women in prison movies of the 70s, because the Pilgrims, they invented prisons. And we're going to start off Thanksgiving week with my annual turkey dinner double feature, Robot Monster and Bride of the Monster, two of the worst movies ever made because the Pilgrims loved turkeys. And we also have a flick called Moontrap about these astronauts that go to the moon to fight prehistoric monsters that look like erector sets with teeth. It's a dangerous journey into the unknown, not unlike that long ago journey of the Mayflower. And I'm starting to get choked up because let's all just bow our heads now while I intone the names of our Pilgrim forefathers. Miles Standish, Robert E. Lee, Brandon Tartikoff, Squanto. I know Squanto was one of them. Was Squanto a person or a vegetable? On November the 17th, for the first time on any cable program, Robot Monster and Bride of the Monster on the same show back-to-back in the annual Joe Bob Briggs Turkey Dinner double feature, because we want to see if you have the iron constitution to get through two of the worst films ever made in the history of the world. We're not just talking bad here. Robot Monster is the story of a guy in a gorilla suit and a plastic diving helmet who comes to destroy Earth with a machine that blows bubbles like on the Lawrence Welk Show. And Bride of the Monster is Bela Lugosi. He puts these tin pie plates on people's heads and zaps them with atomic rays and then feeds them to a giant rubber octopus that never moves. It just sits there. You think I'm making this up, don't you? See, they think I'm making this up. It's not going to work. 11 o'clock, drive-in theater. Get into the spirit of the holiday. I showed these movies to a guy who likes Howard the Duck. He couldn't handle it. Hey, I'm Joe Bob Briggs, and I'll be the host for Emmanuel Week, the sleaziest thing on cable, the sexiest series of movies that you have ever seen, beginning Monday, August the 23rd, and going every night at 11 o'clock. We'll be showing Emmanuel, Queen of the Desert, Emmanuel's Amazon Adventure, Emmanuel in Hong Kong, Emmanuel in Bangkok, Emmanuel goes to Epcot Center, tell Emmanuel to put a lid on it. We'll be showing all of them. And on one of those nights, I'll have some special co-hosts with me, Monique Gabrielle, star of Emmanuel 5, and Steve Barnett, director of Emmanuel 5. So, thank you, Monique. Tell me, was it an honor to be selected as Emmanuel 5? It's no Emmanuel 4, but still, it's...
I was never so excited as I was at that moment when they told me, Joe Bob.
Is she putting me on, Steve?
Don't ask me, Joe Bob.
Emmanuel Week, 5 nights, beginning August the 23rd. And actually, Steve, we probably won't even need much of your time if Monique plans to dress like this.
Well, do you want me to take it off?
Is she always like this, Steve?
Always, Joe Bob.
You won't even find stuff like this on HBO. He started entertaining the possibility of making Frankenhooker the first movie to receive the new A rating, meaning newspapers would take the advertising for it, but no one under 18 would be admitted. Well, Shapiro Glickenhaus didn't like this idea, but then they thought about it and they thought, well, what the heck? It might be a way to attract even more attention to the movie. They could make up a poster that said, Frankenhooker, first movie to get an S and first movie to get an A. More letters than any movie in history. So one reason that Valini is relenting and starting to favor this A rating is that he fears that one of these X ratings are going to be overturned on appeal, which would cause more stupid congressmen to get on his back. You understand this? Meanwhile, the MPAA monkeys, they continue all that stuff they're doing. You know, they started out the year, they gave Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, an X for disturbing moral tone. That's kind of like saying, we don't know exactly why we hate this movie, we just hate it. And then they've been doling out these X's left and right. They gave an X to this art film called The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, and Her Lover. Remember that one? Because one of the characters gets cooked, basted, and eaten in the last scene. So X for cannibalism on that one. Then they gave one to a movie called Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down for the scene featuring the scuba diving dildo. We've seen that. And then they gave one to a flick called Life is Cheap, but Toilet Paper is Expensive for graphic chicken cleaning. Do you believe that? Joe Bob Briggs reminding you that if we let them censor the chicken pluckers, then how long is it going to be before they're cutting out all the scenes of kittens being ground up in blenders? Joe Bob Briggs here, and every Saturday night in October we'll be having the Horror Host Hall of Fame on my regular show, Drive-In Theater. And each week I'll have one of the legendary horror hosts as my guest. They'll be recreating their original shows. And on the very first show, we have the man who started it all, Zachary. Not yet. Wait just a minute. Doesn't go there. Sometime in the 1950s, John Zachary crawled up out of a coffin on a local television station in Philadelphia, and he started eating human brains on camera. It's been a long time since you've done this, hasn't it, John?
Well, I'm not in very good voice these days.
Are you the Zachary, you know, the one who was on TV in New York?
Oh, yes,
King of the Ghouls?
Yes, that's me, all right. That's me. What kind of son of you shot her?
That's more like, believe me, this guy Zachary is a legend. October the 5th, 11 o'clock, the beginning of Horror Host Hall of Fame month. We're giving him the benefit of the doubt. It's been 30 years. You know, the laugh thing, Zachary, I don't know if it's going to work in the 90s. Go back to the eyebrow thing.
Oh, sure.
It's better. Between 1963 and 1966, this man right here became the most controversial late-night movie host in television history, and for the first time in 25 years, he will recreate his show on the October 12th edition of Drive-In Theater. The city was Cleveland, station WJW-TV Channel 8, and the legend was and is Ghoulardi.
Cool it, you purple kniff over there.
All right, Ghoulardi, I know you don't need this gig because, see, this man's real name is Ernie Anderson.
You should keep it down.
And
keep it
Ernie
down.
Anderson is one of the top announcers in television. So, Ernie, do the thing for him, you know?
Ernie does not perform tricks like a dog, you know, like a circus kid.
They'll love it. They'll love it. Twice
I'm a
the
big
money.
star,
Twice the money on this job if you'll do that.
Twice the money.
Twice the money.
On the Love Boat.
Is that amazing? It's the same guy. You aren't going to believe this guy. Watch us Saturday night at 11, Horror Host Hall of Fame month on Drive-In Theater with the great Ghoulardi.
Ghoulardi needs to split now.
You need to split now.
Yes, my fake mustache is falling off.
Hi, I'm standing here with John Stanley, the most intellectual horror movie host who ever lived. John had a show in San Francisco called Creature Features in the 70s and 80s, and as I understand it, John, you actually watch the movies that you show.
Oh, sure, Joe Bob. Exploitation movies are more than just entertainment. You know, they're windows into our culture. They're windows into our souls. They reveal all of our aspirations.
Aspirations. Well, see what I mean? We're going to be talking about aspirations this week on my show. All month long, we're having the Horror Host Hall of Fame every Saturday night on Drive-In Theater, and a different legend in this business will be my guest. On October 19th, my guest is John here. So go ahead, John. Say something about that movie that night, The New Kids.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this is not about a bunch of baby goats, okay? This is about a couple of teenagers who drive down to Florida to open up this real sleazy carnival, and they get harassed by a bad guy named Joe Bob. Now, does this movie have pretensions or what?
You know, John, so you just told the plot of the movie. That's not really the way we do it here. You know,
Oh,
John,
excuse me.
Elvira is on the week after you.
Uh-oh.
And there's something to be said for the way she does it, too.
Oh, I agree 100%.
She has a couple of aspirations herself, doesn't she?
What do you mean by that?
Drive-In Theater every Saturday night at 11 o'clock. Check us out.
Oh, I get it.
John, I'm worried about you, John. You've been in San Francisco too long, haven't you? I noticed this. Joe Bob Briggs here, and we got 1 week left in Horror Host Hall of Fame month. And for the life of me, I can't remember who's going to be co-hosting with me this Saturday. Because let's see, first week of the month, the great Zachary was my co-host, the very first late night horror host in history. Then we had Goulardi, controversial guy from Cleveland. Last week it was John Stanley from San Francisco. I know we had one more person set up for the. I'll figure it out. Do you guys remember? It's the Halloween show and everything. Well, I'll get back to you on it. It's this Saturday night, October 26th at 11 o'clock. I had it written down somewhere. I think it's over here.
Joe Bob has no idea what's waiting for him this Saturday.
It's not Robin Leach, is it? I'm Joe Bob Briggs, and my co-host on Drive-In Theater all during the month of July is Linda Blair. And Linda, frankly, I'm a little surprised that a movie star could spend an entire month at the movie channel.
I'm spending an entire month?
Well, yeah, that's the deal. Linda Blair Month, the Linda Blair Film Festival.
Oh, no, I think you must be mistaken. I agreed to do one show. Did you talk to my people about this?
Linda, we bought the movies, we spent money, we've got gall darn costumes, we've got all your greatest movies. We got Red Heat, Bedroom Eyes 2, Repossessed.
I'm very flattered, but I think we have to work this out.
Well, how much time can you give us, hon?
Maybe half a day, hon?
Linda, we're doing a promo here. We got to get people to watch Linda Blair Month on Drive-In Theater.
Well, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Really, I didn't. I would love to spend an entire month with you.
Well, great then. Okay, Linda Blair Month on Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater every Saturday night at 11 o'clock Eastern Time.
No, it's just impossible.
Linda, look, we can get an extra $20-$30 for you, no problem. If it's money, then...
No, it's not the money.
Okay, $70-$80, you know?
No, it's not the money.
Well, what is it then?
Well...
I didn't know people still did that. She'll be here. I'm Joe Bob Briggs, the Alistair Cook of Drive-In Movies, and let's sum up what you'll be seeing on Saturday nights this month on the one and only Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater. First, we've got Beverly Hills Vamp, a true-life documentary about 3 people who were actually killed by vampire hookers in L.A. Next up is Chud 2. It's no Chud 1, but it has one of the finest performances by a zombie French poodle of the last 20 years. Chud stands for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground. I can't remember what Chud stands for. Anyway, then we have an old favorite, The Happy Housewives. 2 solid hours of English women with Pillsbury Doughboy skin, look like giant uncooked biscuits, jumping in and out of bed, flopping their hooters for the camera. It's one of those powerful, hard-hitting European dramas. Next, we have Messenger of Death, starring Charles Bronson. He's Mr. Drive-In, king of the action flicks, as a Denver newspaper reporter who has to blow away some weirdo Mormons to make America strong again. And finally, Into the Fire. We already had Into the Night a couple months ago. Into the Fire, the movie where Susan Onspach proves that she's even kinkier than we thought. A lot of heavy breathing in that one. And in other words, I'm trying to sum this thing up here. I'm trying to come up with a theme for this month's Drive-In Theater. And I think that theme would have to be movies we bought for $50. That would be the common denominator here, because we are the movie channel, because I am Joe Bob Briggs, and because you don't have diddly squat to do on Saturday night, and so you keep watching this show no matter how bad the flicks are. So I'll see you around about 11, Drive-In Theater. It'll change your life. Hey, Joe Bob Briggs here. It's come to my attention that some of you people in Oregon are no longer watching Drive-In Theater on Saturday nights because you think we're old-fashioned. We're not politically correct. We don't go to Portland cappuccino bars and eat croissant. We don't drink bottled water and buy soybean burgers at the health food store. But we're people too. The best in the 3 Bs, blood, breasts, and beasts, and great interviews with B-movie stars every Saturday night at 9, a triple feature right here on the Movie Channel. Don't make me come to Portland and deal with you people.
As usual, Joe Bob Briggs presents off-the-wall movies and comments in drive-in theater and moonlight madness.
We dredge up some old stuff nobody else cares about and see if it flies.
March on the Movie Channel, an award-winning month.
That much is certain.
The question isn't when to tune in, but when can you sleep?
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Joe Bob, if you're so famous, why are you still hosting the most pitiful show on late night cable? And sure, I admit it, it's crossed my mind to quit drive-in theater and do something productive with my life. But then I realize how much time I've already wasted, and I decide to just have another beer and hope nobody will notice me being a weenie about it. I realize it's not a brave decision, but it keeps my butt in this chair. Sorry to get personal when I should be begging you to watch the show, 9 o'clock every Saturday night. Go ahead, watch it. Make me do another year, get even more depressed.
In the history of television, there are but a few names that have earned the respect, the admiration, the trust of an entire nation. We here at the Movie Channel humbly submit one more. Critic, pundit, prophet, Joe Bob Briggs, exclusively on the Movie Channel, a name you can trust.
Hey, Joe Bob Briggs, world's foremost drive-in movie critic, and I want to tell you about a new deal on Showtime called the Drive-In Double Feature. Every Tuesday night at 8, we'll show a B-movie classic followed by Roger Corman Presents, which is an original exclusive movie made by the legendary Roger Corman. Now, if you don't know who Roger is, you hadn't been paying attention. Steven Spielberg spent $80 million on Jurassic Park. Roger made Carnosaur, exact same movie, for $80. He's a genius. I idolize the man. Hey, I'm Joe Bob Briggs, and this is Scream Queen Month on Drive-In Theater every Saturday night, and standing right next to me here is an actual Scream Queen, Brink Stevens, who is the only Scream Queen who is also a marine biologist. Brink, I guess that marine biology degree comes in pretty handy when you're fending off psychos with a butcher knife. Especially, you know, like movies like Slumber Party Massacre, where you have to take a shower and act at the same time. I think that knowledge of water, or life in the water, therefore of death in the water, would come in handy in a scene like that. Brink, I'm just trying to make conversation here. Help me out a little bit.
Watch the Movie Channel Saturday, October 10th, when I help Joe Bob introduce my movie, Haunting Fear.
Brink, that's really supposed to be my job. You're supposed to be the cute girl who stands beside me and smiles.
I'll straighten him out, don't worry. Scream Queens Month on Drive-In Theater every Saturday night in October, only on the Movie Channel.
Joe Bob Briggs, Drive-In Theater, and I know what you're thinking. Here he comes again with more of his schlockola, but that's not true, because in April we've got Snake Eater Night. You asked for it, we brought it to you. Our tribute on Drive-In Theater to the great Lorenzo Lamas. We'll have both Snake Eater and the world cable premiere of Snake Eater 2. What other show would bring you both movies on the same night? I ask you, we also have Night Angel and Cartel. Certainly wouldn't want to miss those. Not to mention Breakfast in Bed, Nightmare, 11 Days, 11 Nights by the great Joe D'Amato, and the great Skycopter Rescue, coming to you on Saturday nights along about 11, except when we screw up and we come on at 10:30. Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater. I don't want to have to tell you guys this stuff again. People come up to me and they say, Joe Bob, do you really watch all those movies you talk about? And I would just like to say right here and now, are you implying that I would falsify a breast count? That's the kind of National Enquirer world we live in today, isn't it? No one has any faith in anybody. You tune in to Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater this month, you'll see what I mean. We've got Basket Case Night. We don't just have Basket Case and Basket Case 2, but we have Frank Henenlotter, who wrote and directed Basket Case. He'll be my special guest. We'll have exclusive footage from Basket Case 3. So right there, you've got all the mutants you'll want for the whole month. And later on, we've got Snake Eater Night. Same deal. Our tribute on Drive-In Theater to the great Lorenzo Lamas. We'll have both Snake Eater and the world cable premiere of Snake Eater 2. What other show has this stuff? We've got Anguish, a movie about a guy who collects human eyeballs. Martians Go Home. What would happen if 1 billion Martians invaded Earth and they were all stand-up comedians? Pretty horrifying, isn't it? Total Recall, Frankenhooker. Everybody loves Frankenhooker. Who doesn't love Frankenhooker? I've watched every single one of these movies. I even watched Deathstalker 3. We've got that one this month, and y'all know how hard that was because I love Deathstalker 2 so much. I didn't think they could improve on it. It was painful to watch that one, but I did it. I did it for you every Saturday night along about 11, except when we screw up and come on at 10:30. Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater. I'm serious about this work. I don't want to have to tell you this again. Well, it's come to my attention that some of you lazy people are still not watching Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater on Saturday night. I'm looking here at the latest ratings. Here's Roseanne up at Montreal, and here's Joe Bob down at Mexico City. This really hurts me. You know that? Sure, you'll watch when we have some bimbo on falling out of her green polyester zoot suit. Sure, you'll watch when you actually want to see the movie, Night of the Living Dead. You tuned in for that, The Happy Hooker. Okay. But you know, there are some people who don't need cheap promotions to appreciate Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater. We're there week in, week out, no matter what the movie is, no matter how lame the monologue is. Hey, you want to keep those comments to yourself? This is hard enough, okay? Sorry to become bitter, but my show is the original home of the 3 Bs, Blood, Breasts, and Beasts. We're proud of that. And we're working every day to get better movies, better material, better guests. We never get any, of course. You think Arsenio is stealing our guests again? Because some people have no pride, no respect. But on Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater, we're there for you every Saturday night, 52 weeks a year. Roseanne is not on 52 weeks a year. Arsenio is not on 52 weeks a year. Actually, I guess Arsenio is on 52 weeks a year. That's a bad example. But we'd be on 62 weeks a year if we could do it. That's how much we care about this show. That's how much we want to keep our jobs. Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater, the most pitiful show on cable, and proud of it. Every Saturday night, only on the movie channel. You know, I always start out with a good idea, but just kind of peters out there at the end, doesn't it? Well, it's Slime Ball month on Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater. All month long, we'll have slime ball after slime ball parading through here. And you know, we don't just take any slime ball. We only take the greatest slime balls in motion picture history. Lance Henriksen. I can't even look at him without feeling musky. Robert Davi looks like he wants to sell you some drugs, doesn't he? Andrew Robinson. Remember when Dirty Harry stepped on his wounded leg and everybody cheered? And look at this guy. Morton Downey Jr., slime ball of all slime balls. These slime-exuding gentlemen will all be my guests during the month of May, only on Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater, where we'll be examining the essence of slime every Saturday at 11 o'clock. I advise you to spread some newspapers under your TV set when you watch, though, because the slime is going to be dripping down off the screen. September is a magical month when thoughts turn to autumn leaves, football, the renewal of old friendships after the summer, the melancholy of the crisp, dying wind. Except on Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater, where we keep doing the same old crap we always do. So tune in every Saturday night at 11 o'clock for the best in the 3 Bs, Blood, Breasts, and Beasts. You can depend on us to never change. I'm Joe Bob Briggs. I hate nature. I'm Joe Bob Briggs, and don't you dare miss the Hot Hollywood Babe Awards.
Join famed drive-in movie critic Joe Bob Briggs as he presents the hottest women in the B-movie biz. Julie Strain, Linnea Quigley, Steen, Michelle Bauer, and Julie K. Smith. Don't miss Joe Bob Briggs' Hot Hollywood Babe Awards, where the contestants undress to impress.
Next on Request Pay-Per-View.